There's always a man, there's always a city, there's always a lighthouse.
Now would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a...
Let's go out to play, Daddy.
Go back to the Sarum from which you came!
It's time to finish this.
Catch!
That'll do. Elizabeth!
Brought to you by BioShock The Collection.
The BioShock games sure did teach us a lot. For example, that wrenches and electricity are a match made in heaven. That slamming your fist onto a button is the only way to call an elevator. And that eating food out of bins is not only socially acceptable, but beneficial to your health. Alright, bin cake!
No.
If it's good enough for Levine, it's good enough for me. So this week on In 2 Minutes, brought to you by BioShock The Collection, here's 7 things you probably didn't know about the BioShock games. And I promise that all of the points aren't just that BioShock 2 is criminally underrated. Even though it is.
The original pitch of BioShock promised quite a different game. You'd play as Carlos Coelho, a deprogrammer assigned to rescue a wealthy heiress from the clutch of a religious cult. You'd be able to hack the environment. Adding more oxygen in the air would increase the blast radius of explosions. You could magnetize the floor to slow down robots, or increase room temperature to make you invisible to thermal security sweeps. Plasmids came in quite a different form. You'd harvest genotypes from animals like jellyfish or eels and merge them with your body to create a gross hybrid monster. And speaking of gross, originally the adorable little sisters were sea slugs. Yep, sea slugs. When the studio realized that no one would empathize with the slimy things, Irrational's artists tried to come up with something cuter. Like this sad dog in a wheelchair, and the infamous frog with a funnel in its anus. Yes, really. A few plasmids were cut from the original BioShock during development. Speed Booster would have boosted speed for a short amount of time. It was cut from BioShock 1 but reappeared as Aerodash in Bio 2's multiplayer. Teleportation was cut quite late in development. It allowed the player to place a beacon which they could instantly return to. It was removed because it wreaked havoc with scripted events, in some cases allowing players to miss entire sections of the game. The Slow Pro would have been a slow-moving, projectile-shooting ranged Big Daddy that had a huge cannon mounted on its shoulder. It was cut from the original BioShock as the developers thought it was a little too colourful and didn't fit the tones of the game, but it resurfaced in Bio 2 as the Rumbler Big Daddy. Throughout BioShock Infinite's 5-year development, Irrational Games was said to have cut 5 or 6 video games worth of content from the final product. In fact, almost nothing from the original E3 trailer makes it into the final game. The character of Elizabeth changed a whole bunch. Originally, she and Booker would be mute, and concept art showed that she would be much older. In early trailers, we saw that Elizabeth's abilities were way more powerful. On top of psycho-telekinetic powers, she could even raise storms. But by the time that Infinite rolled round, her powers were limited to only being able to open and close tears. Originally, the more you used her powers, the more she would be harmed. This would offer players a kind of risk-reward element to the gameplay, as well as change the outcome of the story, kind of like the choice to harvest or save the little sisters back in BioShock 1.
No!
So there we are, 7 things you probably didn't know about the BioShock games. Any surprises in there? Let me know in the comments below. I definitely wasn't expecting the anus funnel. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at LucyJamesGames, and until next time, I'll be eating this bin cake. See you then.